Alright, this is a lesson off of the Honors book, the Purple Book, Chapter 1, Lesson 1. Be doing the guided practice off page 10. Just a quick review. This is the skill that we're starting with, fraction to decimal to percent. We need to know the connection. To go from a fraction to a decimal, you divide. To go from a decimal to a percent, you bounce the decimal 2 places right, which means you're multiplying by 100. To reverse that, you divide by 100, remove the decimal 2 places left, and then you can read it. We already talked about this, but that means, remember, there are some that are repeating decimals. We have to have a special rule for how to get those to be fractions, because since they never end in a place value, you can't read it. All right, let me do the guided practice. Number 1, 9/16. Remember, this is a fraction. We want to change it to a decimal in this. I'm going to go ahead and change it to a percent as well. Top number goes in the box, and you're dealing with 9 divided by 16. When you divide, of course, make sure your decimal goes straight up in your answer. Remember, I put some zeros out there. Not sure how many I'll need. It goes in there 5 times, which would be 80. Goes in there 6 times, which would be 96. Goes in there 2 times, which would be 32. And finally goes in there 5 times exactly, so it would be 0.5625. If I wanted to move the decimal 2 places, I'd have it as 56.25%. Number 2. Number 2 says negative 1 29/40. So I already know my answer is going to be negative 1 point something, just whatever 29/40 becomes. So I set up the division problem, 29 divided by 40. Put out some zeros. It doesn't go into 2, doesn't go into 29. Goes into 290 7 times. Goes in there twice, minus 80. And it goes in there exactly 5 times, so 0.725. I could also, remember that goes with the negative 1, so negative 1.725. I could move it 2 places, that'd be negative 172.5%. Next one is 4 and 5/6. I already know it's going to be 4 point something, whatever 5 divided by 6 becomes. So as I divide 5 by 6, I get 8, 3. This looks familiar. I'm going to get 3, and I'm going to continue to get 3, so it's 0.83 repeating. Remember, we show that with that line over whatever digits are repeating. When I move that 2 places, be careful, because you're actually moving it to there, but there's a whole bunch more 3s after. Number 4, Monica won 7 of the 16 science competitions she entered. The nearest 1,000, find her winning average. I'm going to skip that, but that would be the exact same process. 7/16. Of course, you divide 2 places right if you want it as a percent. I want to skip to number 5 and 6. Write your decimal as a fraction. So number 5 says 0.32. 0.32. Well, I could read that as 32 hundredths. Then I could just simplify it. 4 goes into both of these, I see. So 4 goes in there 8 times. 4 goes in there 25 times, and I've simplified it. Number 6. Number 6 is one that I better move and give myself a little bit of extra area. I see it says negative 0.7 repeating. Alright, so I have a repeating decimal. I can't just read that because it doesn't really end. So here's how we would do that. We would set n to be equal to 0.7 repeating, and I'm just going to write out some 7s. And then I would like to be able to get rid of all these repeating, so if I put 10 in, 10 in would just be moving the decimal 1 place, so it would be 7.7777 ... And if I subtract these, all of these are going to cancel each other out, and I'll be left with just a 7 equals, and then 10n minus n is 9n. We're in a one-step equation. Divide by 9 to get rid of it, and guess what you have? You have what n was at the very beginning. N is 7/9, so we've changed it. Just so you recognize that, if you had something like 0.343434, so it's 2 digits repeating, then you would want to go n equals 0.3434 ... And if there's 2 digits, you would want to go to 100n That way it moves the decimal 2 places, and you'll be at 34.3434. So when you subtract, all of these will cancel out, and you'll be left with 99n. Kind of hard to see there. 99n equals 34. Divide, and you get 34/99. Couple quick reviews.